I initially read the script. I thought it was incredibly charming. I thought that there was a lightness to it, but definitely a multi-dimensionalism to Henry that was particularly fascinating. I find the notion of playing someone who is very trapped by circumstance and their upbringing to be very interesting to play as an actor. So the script was incredible, and then of course Matthew Lopez, our director, coming off the back of the success of The Inheritance, was a major draw, and the fact that he wanted me so early on to play this character was definitely one of the aspects involved in choosing to pursue the project. Henry is very much the catalyst, I think, in a lot of ways. Two-thirds of the movie is told from Alex's perspective, and a third is told from Henry's. Um, but Alex is a much freer human being, and I think the world he lives in is much more accepting of who he is as a person. Whereas this sort of archaic nature of the institution that Henry is born into and has to present himself in every single day means that it's almost impossible for him to be who he is. So the the story moves forward in the sense that it isn't as simple as them just loving each other. They are not two normal people, and yeah, there loving someone is complicated, and being who you really are in Henry's world is very complicated. There is very much an enemies to lovers book trope, which I know people love. They're both very principled, I think, in their own beliefs. Really, the enemies, uh, the feeling of them being enemies was really born out of misunderstanding in a lot of ways. They don't realize that they actually share quite a lot in common, and they are very different as people as well. But I think the more time they're sort of forced to spend with each other because of the cake incident, that is really the catalyst of the whole movie. Just the more they realize that they are very good for each other in a lot of ways, and they complement each other in a lot of ways. I think this film is unique in its subject matter. I think it feels very timely. I think it feels very current. I think people will feel very represented in it. I think their genre wise is plenty to like for different audiences. There is so much humor within this movie. There is so much heartbreak within this movie. Um, I think really we have produced a very much a spectrum of real life, whilst having the sort of the fantastical and the romantic within it as well. I think movies that are able to blend real raw humanity, whilst at the same time feeling kind of whimsical and romantic, as I said, are just so watchable, and I feel and I hope we have done that. The characters we have in this movie, I hope, can be totem poles for change, and can can act as inspiration, to a lot of young people watching these films. I feel like a lot of young people, marginalized people, will be very seen within this movie. I hope we do them justice. Um, but I hope it is a portrayal of an idealistic image of the US, and I hope it can have a certain resonance with people. Honestly, the the cake dropping scene was probably one of the most fun scenes to film. It was just such a couple days. It was first of all, I just love being with the rest of the cast. You know, it's mostly been Taylor and me throughout the entire process. But when you get to really spend time with your other actors, I think it's just so much fun. The group of us together. But there was so much pomp within this room. We had about 200 extras, everyone dressed to the nines. And just the act of this cake falling on top of us is just a very bizarre day at work that most people don't get to experience. I'd say also doing the polo was a lot of fun. I love riding, I love horses, and just being able to get back on the literal horse was a lot of fun. And I think whenever you get to learn a new skill for a job and actually do it yourself on camera, it's incredibly gratifying. It's been such a joy working with Taylor, and I really couldn't imagine anyone better suited to play Alex. I think the most important thing in casting Alex was to find someone who could really go tete-a-tete with me and with Henry. This film is a two-hander, and it's all about the chemistry and the banter that you can have between the two of them. He's such a fun loving person, is such a joy to be around, and so much of the filming process for me is about finding a acting partner who just loves being here as much as I do, and I can't say enough good things about him. Matthew is very unlike any other director I've worked with. He's extremely expressive. He has a very set idea about how he wants to do something, and really it's about you trying to bring up a better idea than what that is, and if you can, he's extremely collaborative, and I think just extremely knowledgeable about the story he wants to tell, which you really like as an actor. You want a director who can guide you and shape your performance in a lot of ways. I think his experience in theatre very much lent to this world that we were making a film about. And apart from anything else, he just likes to have a laugh on set too. He likes to have a lot of fun. There was a lot of laughter on this film, which for me is just always helps me, I think, do my best work.